We love having you guys out here.
Dan, Mark, Kenny, and Denny bring you the Pro Football Hall of Fame Game of the Week on 1480 WHBC and Mix 94.1.
Live from the WHBC Broadcast Center. Find out more about area businesses, agencies, and events.
It's what's going on right now.
This is Spotlight.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome back to 1480 WHBC. It's a Wednesday morning. It is time for our Spotlight program. And, you know, this is a day that I'm really excited to bring to you some interviews that we're going to be doing. We have been talking about this in our newscast this morning, and we're going to get more in depth in the brand new OrthoUnited. And we'll explain that here in just a minute. For those of you who are on Facebook or YouTube, you can check this out video live right now on our Facebook page. Just go there and like it at 1480 WHBC. Same thing with our YouTube channel. You can watch us live right now. Go to YouTube, search 1480 WHBC, and you will find us. But of course, we are also live on the radio as well. So I'm going to bring in a group of doctors right now, everyone who, each one of them sharing a little bit about their part in this new company that I think is going to be really spectacular for this area. And this morning we have with us Dr. AJ Seth, Dr. Matthew Stonestreet, Dr. Dean Marshall, and Dr. Dan Charlick. Good morning, everyone.
Hello.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
Good morning.
So the big announcement came this morning. We had it in our news this morning that Spectrum Orthopaedics and Omni Orthopaedics merging as of the first of the year to be known as OrthoUnited. I would say that to the average listener who heard the news, the first thought for them was, hey, what's going to happen to my doctors? And I would imagine that's probably some questions that you guys are going to have to answer a lot of, right?
Sure.
So let's start off, first of all, with Dr. Matthew Stonestreet. And Dr. Stonestreet, tell me a little bit, first of all, about yourself, but also about why you think this merger is so important to the community.
So I've been in Omni for 5 years now. I'm one of the hip and knee reconstruction specialists at Omni. And, you know, I think this coming together is really just a great way to stay independent and keep local care local and really allow us to continue to provide what we have been providing for our patients in both groups for many years, just to be able to continue to do that at the same, if not a better and more efficient level to come.
And you are with Dr. Dan Charlick, by the way, for those who are watching on video. And you guys are where right now? We're
at Oasis Surgery Center, which is Omni Surgery Center. So it's on the corner of Whipple and Portage. Just in between cases here, taking a chance to talk to you guys.
And, you know, it's interesting. I mean, I have two boys that went through sports, all those kinds of things. And every time they were injured or I had a back problem or, you know, it was, okay, where do we go? Spectrum or Omni? And it was always, you had so many people that supported both places. So to join forces, I think, gosh, I mean, that just makes you really one of the best places around and the biggest. I mean, how's that going to affect it size-wise? Do you know?
So essentially, it's going to double us in size. We're going to have over 35 musculoskeletal specialists taking care of any subspecialty that you could hope for. And once again, you know, trying to keep all that care here in Stark County.
And Dr. Marshall, let's talk to you a little bit. Maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and, you know, your thoughts on this whole venture.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm Dean Marshall. I'm been in Spectrum for going on 7 years now. I'm at the Spectrum campus currently seeing patients. I think that this move is going to be great for both practices as well as Stark County and our patients. You know, I think our message has always been kind of, you know, quality hometown care, and this will continue to allow us to stay independent and to provide care that we've been providing for longer than I've been here. I think that the big things will be that, you'll still have access to all of the surgeons that you had access to before. Our efficiencies should be able to be better so we can provide better care for patients in our community.
And also, Dr. AJ Seth, who is no stranger to WHBC and the Kenny and JT show, and Saturday morning huddle as well. So we're happy to have you on, Dr. Seth. Talk about your thoughts on this whole merger. I mean, this is, I know, a big deal.
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for doing this for us. We really appreciate it. It's the easiest way to get the word out through WHBC since it's such a local station. It's something that I think has been, it's been in the works for a while. And I think a lot of it it's been needed to be done. The guys, Dr. Marshall, Dr. Stone, they've all done a phenomenal job of putting it together because that was not an easy task. And it's been about 2.5 years it's been in the works. And I'm telling you what, I've had a surprise party that didn't even last a day without people knowing. And it's amazing how 2.5 years this has been going on and really nobody knew. That never happens. But when I came here, it's been 18 years, there was Omni Spectrum, and I had to make a choice between, do you want to join Omni or do you want to join Spectrum? Ended up joining Spectrum, but it was a close call. I mean, you can go to either place. And, I'm a local person. I went to Jackson. I never thought in a million years I would come back. I remember getting an argument with my mom, and I said, I'll never come to this town in a million years. I'm going to be in the big town. And here I am, and I've stayed. And, it's always been that Omni Spectrum, but there has always been a mutual respect. I don't think that we often said we're competing with Omni, they're competing with us. There's 100,000 people just in Canton. And then you start adding the surrounding areas. We're taking care of a couple 100,000 people. There's no way each one of us can see every person. What we wanted is to have people in town that have the same kind of qualifications, the same expertise. And when we talked about joining with Omni, we wouldn't have done it unless we thought, and same with them, that we were all going to be a good fit and we all are very technically sound. And so I think as time goes, you have all these mergers, acquisitions happening everywhere. I think that one of the reasons we did is it's going to be the best thing we think for the community. A lot of us grew up here. A lot of us went to high school here. So, I've been here now, I'm 50 now, for most of my life. And so I'm really invested in this community. And that's one of the reasons I didn't leave. We all could have gone different places, but I mean, it's kind of home. We've got great cost of living. We've got great people, great high schools. And I think a lot of it is we don't want to go anywhere. And with different entities coming together, I think putting Omni and Spectrum is going to be the best for the community. That's the way we look at it. And it's more of a community thing. And it's not a, power of this. It's people will think, it's bringing guys that have always had respect for each other together.
Yeah, and I would say probably with most mergers, it's also makes things a lot more efficient and then better to offer, more services and things like that. I don't know who wants to address this, but you were saying about the process going on for a couple of years now. Talk about the process and, what were some of the concerns when this whole thing first came to mind and as you went through that?
Go ahead, Dean.
Okay, so I'm a newer, younger physician here in the group, and when I joined, the I guess the thought has always been, why don't we just join together, Spectrum and Omni? And every meeting would say, we've tried this, and it's never worked out. So as the landscape of medicine in Stark County has kind of changed, a couple of years ago, we said, should we reach out to Omni? And some of the physicians that are more personally knowing each other said, well, maybe we should look at it again. So we, hired independent people to come in to tell us, how could we go about merging this? What would it mean? How would we go about doing it? So they did a market analysis. They looked at everything and said, yeah, it would work out for you guys to do that. And these are the benefits that that you guys would have of joining together, becoming more efficient, sharing in a lot of things that make it hard for us to stay in private practice. And as we share it between two groups instead of just ourselves, it helps us become, better. And we've had countless meetings. I wouldn't say necessarily in super secret, but they were pretty long meetings that I'm kind of surprised nobody truly found out about. But as time has gone on, we've been able to work through all the steps to make this work out, and we're excited to go forward.
Yeah, and again, for folks who are just tuning in, Omni Orthopaedics, Spectrum Orthopaedics, it's official the first of the year to be known as OrthoUnited. And we've been talking about this morning. We're going to continue here. We'll take our first break. And when we come back, we'll talk about all of the expanded options for patients and all of the places you'll be able to go now if you have been at Spectrum or have been at Omni. And there's a lot to talk about. So stay tuned to Spotlight right here on 1480 WHBC.
Get your day started with Pam Cook. She's like your own personal smartphone, and she's fully charged. We're hands-free, news and information. 1480 WHBC. It's the Mum's the Word Cash Contest.
Hey, this is Lynette. I listen all day, and I filled in those words, and I just won $2,000 on Mum's the Word Cash Contest.
On 1480 WHBC.
Violent people lurking freely in your neighborhood. It's not a horror film. It's a horrible court decision creating a revolving door for accused violent criminals.
I'm Jason Pappas from the Ohio Fraternal Order of Police. The Ohio Supreme Court recently ruled that the safety of our families can never be considered when setting bail amounts. That's wrong. That's why 25,000 members of the Fraternal Order of Police endorsed Sharon Kennedy, Pat DeWine, and Pat Fisher. They spoke out for public safety.
I'm Justice Sharon Kennedy, and I spoke out because, as a former police officer, I know communities need protection.
I'm Justice Pat DeWine, and I spoke out because public safety must be part of the consideration when setting bail amounts.
I'm Justice Pat Fisher. I spoke out about this problem too. Judges have a solemn responsibility to keep our communities safe.
Vote for Republican Justices Sharon Kennedy, Pat DeWine, and Pat Fisher.
Paid for by the Ohio Republican Party.
When it comes to taking care of your acreage, don't mess around. Bears Lawn and Garden has Toro zero-turn mowers that cut big yards down to size in less time, so you can spend more time hunting, fishing, or just enjoying the day. Built with comfort-enhancing, productivity-boosting features like MyRide suspension that take the ache out of acreage, massive rear drive tires for ultimate traction, and ultra-durable iron-forged cutting decks you can rely on for years to come. Pull through anything that dares get in your way. Toro, count on it. Visit Bears Lawn and Garden in North Canton to find yours.
Canton City Public Health continues to run Stark County's Syringe Exchange Program, also known as SWAP. SWAP offers safe disposal of syringes and provides harm reduction supplies and services. SWAP also offers mental health and recovery referrals, Narcan, a wound care clinic, along with HIV and hepatitis C rapid testing. Stark County's Syringe Exchange Program is open every Friday from 2 to 4 p.m. at Canton City Public Health, 420 Market Avenue North. For more information, call 330-489-3322.
Together, Omni and Spectrum Orthopaedics are changing the landscape of local orthopedic care. This January, we are joining practices to become OrthoUnited. For over 35 years, Omni and Spectrum Orthopaedics have shared the same goal: continued accessibility to state-of-the-art excellence right here at home. OrthoUnited, offering the same doctors at the same campuses, better together. Better for our communities.
Do you enjoy sports betting and fantasy sports? If so, it's important to know that gambling's not a way to pay bills or earn income. Learn how to set limits and recognize the warning signs for problem gambling by visiting beforeyoubet.org. You can also assess your risk by taking the responsible gambling quiz. BeforeYouBet.org provides free resources to help keep gambling safe and fun for Ohioans. Be a fan with a plan this season and go to beforeyoubet.org to learn more.
Hi, This is Greg Kerr, new general manager at ARE. I'm excited to be in Massillon, Ohio, and be part of the changes at ARE. With locations in Massillon and the Mount Eaton area, ARE is now offering positions where you can immediately start at over $22 an hour. Come experience ARE's commitment to provide a workplace built on respect, communication, valued diversity, and engagement of all team members. I encourage you to learn more and apply by visiting 4are.com. Again, that is the number 4are.com.
Carpet Time's the place to buy. Go there today. You'll cheer and rave at the money you save. Buy at Carpet Time.
Hi, I'm Joel Primack, and here at Carpet Time, we're having a huge store-wide sale. Save on carpet, hundreds of colors and styles. Save on floors, wood, laminate, vinyl, ceramic, and more. Save up to 30 to 50% and pay no interest for 1 full year. Here at Carpet Time, we don't meet competition, we make it.
Buy at Carpet Time.
Visit us at our Perry Maslin store on the corner of Lincoln Way and Genoa, or at our Belden Village store across from Red Lobster. Like us on Facebook or online at carpettime.com. One word, one T, that's carpettime.com.
Carpet Time's the place to buy. Go there today. You'll cheer and rave at the money you save. Buy at Carpet Time.
Sheets Hike Electric, serving the Stark County electrical needs in commercial, industrial, and residential service. Sheets Hike Electric is a Generac dealer who can help you install generators for your home or business. Call them for a generator quote today, and Sheets Hike Electric is your choice to install power poles or light poles for your business quickly and safely while providing quality service at a reasonable price. For all your electrical needs, call Sheets Hike Electric at 330-324-2050, an IBEW NECA contractor.
Progressive Jeep Ram will give you $5,000 for your trade, no matter the condition. That's right, $5,000 for any trade, guaranteed. When you buy any factory-certified pre-owned car, truck, or sport utility at Progressive Jeep Ram in Massillon.
One trade per purchase. Offer applies to Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram certified vehicles only. Does not apply to prior transactions and cannot be combined with any other advertised offers. See dealer for details. Ends October 31st, 2022.
Get $5,000 for your trade only at Progressive Jeep Ram in Massillon.
When you can't stop, there's Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub sends powerful medicated Vicks vapors right to the source of your so you can experience cough relief and breathe easier. Generations of families have trusted Vicks VapoRub to help relieve the worst cold symptoms. So next time you have a cough, reach for the Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub. Cough relieving is believing.
Now back to Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
And welcome back to 1480 WHBC, our Wednesday Spotlight this morning. I'm Pam Cook with you this morning, and two very well-known and respected, long-established private orthopedic medical practices here in Stark County are joining forces come the first of the year. That would be Spectrum Orthopedics and Omni Orthopaedics. They will become known as OrthoUnited. And this morning, we're having a chance to talk to several of the doctors from Omni and Spectrum. And we have Dr. Dan Charlick and Dr. Matthew Stonestreet, also Dr. Dean Marshall and Dr. AJ Seth. And, you know, one of the things, guys, that I didn't mention to begin with is the fact that you are a 100% physician-owned practice with a governing board, and you decided to keep it that way. Why is that? And maybe explain it, first of all, what that is and why that was the choice.
Okay, well, so first of all, thanks for having us, and we really appreciate the opportunity. I'm Dan Charlick. I'm at the Omni division of what's now OrthoUnited. So, you know, there are basically two models of practice management or practice ownership. One is being independent and basically you're, you know, running your own business. And the other is being employed or associated closely with a hospital system. And traditionally here in Canton, the practices of orthopedics have been independent, and that allows us to work at either hospital system or within our own systems, both Spectrum and Omni also have their own surgical centers for outpatient surgery, which we can keep independent and control a lot of the variables and make the, improves patient care. So we always have felt very strongly, both groups, that being independent and physician owned was the model that we wanted to proceed with. And, this combination of the groups gives us, even more opportunity to provide independent physician-owned care to the community and, into the future. So we're really happy about that.
Yeah, and when you look at these, and so that means obviously for people, that means you're not affiliated necessarily with any of the hospitals, but you do go there, correct?
That's right. We have privileges at basically all of the hospitals in the area. And when we feel a case needs to be done in the hospital setting, then we have the opportunity to, admit that patient to the hospital or do the case at a hospital. And if we feel like the patient doesn't need, medically, this decision is made not just by us, but also the patient's primary care physician. But if we feel like a patient doesn't need to go to the hospital to have surgery, then they may be able to have that at an outpatient setting and not go to a hospital. So that gives us that opportunity. It also lets us control a lot of the variables, make sure we can choose what we think is absolutely best for our patients and, provide the best service that we can possibly provide. These groups have, been innovators in areas of patient care. For example, both groups have orthopedic urgent care centers where patients can come with urgent or, emergent type of injuries or problems, and they don't even need an appointment. There are times where those are open after hours. So those are things that we've been able to offer to the community because we're independent.
And I would ask Dr. Marshall, how many physicians does this make in combining these two companies?
So we'll be 35 musculoskeletal physicians total. We have a conglomeration of orthopedic surgeons and basically all specialties. From myself, I do total joint replacements just like Dr. Stonestreet. Dr. Charlick does foot and ankle, as well as Dr. Seaman. Dr. Seth does hand and upper extremity, as well as some of the other physicians in both the Spectrum and Omni side. We have non-orthopedic surgeons in physical medicine and rehab, as well as pain management. Will be a very large group, but I think we'll complement each other very well in terms of all around care that you really don't need to go to outside of the community to get it.
Dr. Seth, if you had a message to give to your patients, your current patients right now, who are, hearing this for the first time, what would you say to them?
Yeah, so I think that's, like you talked about, the big question: where do I go? Do I go at Omni? Do I at Spectrum? Is Dr. Seth going to be at the Omni office? A lot of it's not going to change for the everyday. It won't change for the patients. If you've seen us Spectrum, you look at it as like a GM, and you have a Chrysler and you have a Dodge. And if you've gone and you've always bought Dodges, you go to Dodges. But now you have Chrysler. We've all come together. So, it's kind of like we have an East-West campus. You have a Spectrum campus, you have an Omni campus. And that won't change for people. If you want to see me, you come, to Spectrum. You want to see the Omni physicians, you see the Omni physicians. So for the everyday thing, I don't see it changing, at this point. So, it's more going to be, it's kind of like a gradual thing where we slowly kind of combine and come together. And I think the reason we do that is that it's nice to take little steps going forward. There's so much that's involved business-wise by being private practice that, you want to make sure everything is taken care of properly. So in regards to, if you've seen me at Spectrum, I'll be at Spectrum still. The guys at Omni will still be at Omni. But it's nice because we can bounce ideas off each other. You could refer it. It's a bigger difference when you have 35 guys to bounce ideas off of. Or, if you need a second opinion, we want, physicians don't know everything. A lot of times patients come in and they're like, well, you don't know. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm okay. I don't know. But, now there's 4 hand surgeons or 3 other ones I can call and say, hey, what do you think about this? And I think that's where a big thing comes into play, is the camaraderie. And now, the physicians have kind of a background where there's 35 physicians supporting each other.
All right, we're going to take our break for the news here. And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about, for folks who maybe went to Omni, what they'll get out of the Spectrum side and vice versa, and what this merger means for the community. And we'll do that again as Spotlight will continue right here on 1480 WHBC.
Getting to retirement is like climbing up the mountain. Getting through retirement can take different skills and a whole new kind of guide. Find out more on Expedition Retirement. Saturdays at noon here on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Violent people lurking freely in your neighborhood. It's not a horror film. It's a horrible court decision creating a revolving door for accused violent criminals.
I'm Jason Pappas from the Ohio Fraternal Order of Police. The Ohio Supreme Court recently ruled that the safety of our families can never be considered when setting bail amounts. That's wrong. That's why 25,000 members of the Fraternal Order of Police endorsed Sharon Kennedy, Pat DeWine, and Pat Fisher. They spoke out for public safety.
I'm Justice Sharon Kennedy, and I spoke out because, as a former police officer, I know communities need protection.
I'm Justice Pat DeWine, and I spoke out because public safety must be part of the consideration when setting bail amounts.
I'm Justice Pat Fisher. I spoke out about this problem too. Judges have a solemn responsibility to keep our communities safe.
Vote for Republican Justices Sharon Kennedy, Pat DeWine, and Pat Fisher.
Paid for by the Ohio Republican Party.
Verndale Water Experts is getting ready for winter with a wide variety of snow and ice melting products to suit any need, including our pet-friendly Diamond Crystal Snow Paws. Stock up today and be ready when winter comes your way. Shop Verndale Water Experts today.
WHBC AM Canton, reliable as ever on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
From the News Talk 1480 WHBC newsroom, a Cleveland Municipal Court judge has been suspended by the Ohio Supreme Court. Judge Pinky Carr has been removed from the bench and her law license suspended for 2 years. The High Court says she ruled her courtroom in a reckless and cavalier manner, unrestrained by the law or the court's rules. Cannabis users may soon be a majority among young adults. According to federal data, more than 2/5 of young men and women nationwide now use cannabis, at least on occasion. Experts say much of the trend is driven by young women who have basically closed a decades-long gender gap in marijuana use. Mackenzie Scott earning herself free Thin Mints for life after her latest charitable donation. The ex-wife of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos donating $84.5 million to Girl Scouts of the USA, which she calls a vote of confidence in the 110-year-old organization. The Cleveland Guardians' spectacular season coming to an end last night.
2 out, 2 on, 5-1, Cleveland trailing. The pitch. Strong ground ball to short. Fielded by Kiner Falefa. Throw to second. And the series is over. And the New York Yankees advance to the American League Championship Series as they beat the Cleveland Guardians here tonight by a final score of 5-1.
And again, a great season by the Guardians, and the NLCS began last night. The Phillies beat the Padres 2-0. For News Talk 1480 WHBC, I'm Pam Cook.
Your severe weather station, News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Here's your AccuWeather forecast. A shower or two this morning. It'll be brief. Otherwise, clouds breezy and cold. High today at 43. Partly cloudy cold tonight with a freeze and a low 31. A partly sunny breezy day tomorrow. The high 52. Partly cloudy chilly tomorrow night with some frosty spots in the area. Low 35. Partly sunny, a little bit milder Friday. Look for the high at 64. I'm Steve Williams for News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Tim Ryan thinks he can just throw away his liberal record so no one will notice. But Tim Ryan's 100% support for Joe Biden's reckless spending nailed Ohio families with inflation and higher prices on everything from groceries to gas to housing. Ryan took aim at working-class Ohioans, pegging them by supporting Biden's billions in higher taxes. even on families making less than $75,000 a year. And Ryan backed Nancy Pelosi's national energy tax that would hit Ohioans with skyrocketing energy costs on gas and electricity. Hey, Taxing Tim, your liberal agenda is way out of bounds for hardworking Ohio families. Ohio needs to sack Tim Ryan and his liberal agenda. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
This January, Omni and Spectrum Orthopaedics are changing the landscape of local orthopedic excellence. We're joining practices to become OrthoUnited. Same doctors at the same campuses, one united group. OrthoUnited. Better together, better for our communities.
Medicine Center pharmacies have been serving our local community for over 40 years. Our customers know they can count on our pharmacy staff, save money, and trust us. Stop by any of our Medicine Center pharmacy locations in Canton, Louisville, Minerva, and New Philadelphia, or visit us online at midshoprx.com.
Are you planning a company holiday party to thank your employees for all their hard work this past year? If so, your first call should be to the event professionals at Canton Chair Rental. If you'd like to have an event at your company location after hours, Canton Chair Rental can transform your office or warehouse into a beautiful holiday venue with pipe and drape. Add tables with linens and napkins in holiday colors, along with china, glassware, and silverware, and you have a festive atmosphere for your company holiday party. We can also create a more glamorous look at any location with specialty linens, table runners, gold flatware and chargers, Chivari chairs, and black or white garden chairs. Will Santa be visiting your event? If so, put him up in style on our Santa chair or throne chair in front of a beautiful holiday backdrop. So if you're planning a holiday party for your company this year, give Canton Chair Rental a call. Visit our website, cantonchairrental.com, and look in the photo gallery events section to see examples of company holiday parties we have helped create. Let us help plan a holiday party your employees won't stop talking about.
Now back to Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
And again, welcome back to 1480 WHBC and our Wednesday morning spotlight. If you are on Facebook, you can always like our Facebook page and watch us live there. You can go to our YouTube channel as well. Just search 1480 WHBC. You'll find us, and you can take a look at the live video right now, or go take a look at it when you have a moment today if you did not join us at the beginning of our program this morning. We are talking about a new merger that's going to take effect the first of the year. OrthoUnited, that would be Spectrum Orthopaedics and Omni Orthopaedics joining forces to make OrthoUnited. And we have with us this morning several doctors, Dr. Dean Marshall, Dr. AJ Seth, also Dr. Dan Charlick, and Dr. Matthew Stonestreet. Welcome back, guys.
Thank you. Hey, thank you.
So I would imagine that if people are sitting here and they are people who have gone to Spectrum all the time, they're saying, okay, well, so what is there about Omni that I'm going to get? And vice versa. They're going to say, all the Omni patients are going to say, oh, well, what am I going to get that Spectrum is going to bring to the table? So maybe we can explain that a little bit. I know locations will increase and things like that, but I'm not sure which one of you wants to address that. But I know people are probably saying, oh, there's going to be a lot more options for me.
I'll take that. I mean, I think that, first of all, the main thing to know is that patients can continue to see their same doctors and do the same thing that they've been doing all along. They don't necessarily have to change what they're doing. All along, patients have had the opportunity to see doctors at either Omni or Spectrum. And, some people see doctors at Omni for their shoulder or their knee, and doctors at Spectrum for a different body part. So we've shared patients all along. But the main advantage that patients are going to receive is that there's closer communication between us all. That we can share in ideas in general and also in their specific cases. That if there's something challenging, for example, I do orthopedic foot and ankle, and Dr. Seaman is an orthopedic foot and ankle surgeon at the Spectrum campus of OrthoUnited now. So, he and I can get together where we might not have really been able to do that as much in the past, and share our difficult cases together, maybe make some plans together to help each other in cases where we might not have really been able to do that before. So, it's those kinds of collaborations. Also for the opportunity to do second opinions within the group, which is always easier than, having to go, for example, up to Akron or Cleveland to see someone outside of the area. And ultimately, there may be services that one division has that the other don't, but actually both practices are very complete in terms of what we've been able to offer over the years. So, I think it'll just strengthen all of those offerings in general.
Do you have to have a referral to go to either Spectrum or Omni? I think sometimes people get confused about that. How does that work?
Most insurances nowadays, you don't have to have any kind of referral from your primary care. There are very few, but some where they may need to check with their insurance company to just make sure. But in Medicare patients and almost all really of the private insurance products that are here in our area don't require that. In fact, you can go to, the urgent care for Spectrum or Omni, even, whenever that day that you may have an injury or a problem, and be seen right then that day. So, that's really one of the strengths that we have is the accessibility to get right in and see an orthopedic provider.
And I know you mentioned, and I think it was Dr. Marshall that mentioned about, you're one of the younger members of the group, and I don't mean to say that anybody was left back in the 19th century or anything like that, but is this the wave of the future when it comes to orthopedic services?
I think so. I mean, I think if you just look at the, overall landscape of everything that happens is, people come together for a common goal to make things better. And I think you've seen acquisitions of hospitals by bigger hospital systems. You've seen, corporations merge that makes, sense for their business models. And, for us, I just think it makes a ton of sense for our business models. We feel that us being independent and having control of how we make decisions and treat our patients is best for our patients. And this gives us the best opportunity to do that going forward by coming together.
Dr. Seth, I'll ask you because obviously, as you mentioned, you're a local guy and you know how the community of Stark County is. They're about tradition and they're about history and they like to keep what they have, that kind of thing. So this in the end is a good thing for that, correct?
Yeah, that's, I think, a really big reason for this. I think your station is a prime example. We want the local news. We want, when WHBC, there was a thing of, okay, we're going to go national, and nationals. I could get that anywhere. I want to hear like WHBC. People listen to you guys because we want that local flavor. In the afternoon, I don't want to hear a national, one of 3,000 national sports shows. I like to hear Kenny and his son, JT, talk about local sports. And I think that's what we want to do. We want to keep it that local flavor. And as you know, unfortunately in town, there's a lot of big entities coming in and a lot of the smaller, unfortunately, grocery stores, a lot of that are having trouble, competing. And, it's not a secret. Cleveland Clinic came to Mercy Hospital and took Mercy Hospital. And I think everybody needs to know that every guy in Spectrum and Omni could work at the clinic, hands down, not even a question. It's just they would change their jacket. It would say Cleveland Clinic. Just because your jacket says Cleveland Clinic doesn't make you this superstar. It's us being out at the baseball games. It's us being out at the softball games. And we see people and they come up and they remember us taking care of their kids. And that's the biggest thing. Your kids are your most precious thing. You want to take them to someone who is going to be available and partakes in the community. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons we did this. Unfortunately, I was taking care of a high school and Cleveland Clinic comes down. I volunteered for 7 years and unfortunately they've taken over that high school. And so I'm kind of outed. Well, that's stuff we don't want to have happen. We want Omni and Spectrum now, or we want OrthoUnited to be taking care of all the high school teams. We want OrthoUnited to be taking care of all the sports, whether it's Little League or high school. That's what we want to do. Most of us are in Canton because we like the small town feel. we all could go somewhere big. That is not even a question on that. But we don't want to. We chose to live in Canton, Ohio, because it's a community town. And why drive an hour, spend half your day to go to somebody that you don't know is going to be any better than what you can, you get here. And so don't go by the name, go by what you've heard. Go by what's out there is the biggest thing. Seriously. So I'm in surgery. I've only messed with this camera like 52 times today because I can't figure out to hold on my keyboard. But
for the radio folks that aren't watching, yeah.
So I think that's my biggest thing. That I remember in high school, remember Jim doing the games for WHBC when I used to play. Like that is a name I'll never forget. That's, to me, I'll never want to lose WHBC covering sports. And I don't want the community to ever just be involved where giant corporations are coming down and we work for them.
I think that's an excellent point. I mean, I've been here 33 years. I've been on the radio 33 years, and I have been going to Omni for all these years. My mom goes to Omni, my sons go to everybody. And so this I see is just, enhancing my experience at a place that I've trusted for a very long time. So I think that's a really big part of it. I think you're exactly right about that. Let's talk about costs, because some people might say, oh, this is going to make it way more expensive now, isn't it? Or, we always have people that have questions like that. How do we address that? How do we answer that question?
So I can take that one. I think that really what the merger and what this union enables us to do is to continue to provide the best care in the most efficient way possible in terms of cost and availability. And one of the reasons we're doing it is to continue to practice in independent model, because it is one of the most cost efficient models. If you look at these big centers, from a consumer standpoint and an insurance company standpoint, these are the most expensive models to attain care. When you're going to these big tertiary care centers, they're spending much more money to obtain the same amount of care. So one of the reasons we're doing it is to control costs, to continue to provide the best care that we can in a model that we believe strongly is the best way to do that.
Yeah. And I'd just like to echo that one and say that most of the time when patients are having medical services, the cost is pretty much preset. That those costs are basically dictated by Medicare or by their insurance company. Maybe their deductible or their copay is really what they're going to be seeing, and that's not going to change at all. We're as OrthoUnited, we're planning to be on all the major insurances, certainly all the ones we're on now, and to accept those the same way that we accept them now. Hopefully, we always hope for lower insurance costs, but I have medical insurance for me and my family, and it doesn't ever seem to go down. So, but that's not going to the doctors.
Right.
The doctors basically get it's the same whether you go to either one of the two divisions, and it always will be for the patients. The one time that it may be a big difference and benefit the patients is, for example, the difference between going to an emergency room visit or going to a hospital urgent care versus going to the orthopedic urgent care that the Spectrum campus and the Omni campus have. So that is actually, patients should know that is a significant savings in terms of what they would pay to see an orthopedic provider immediately. It's basically the cost of an office visit to come to see either one of our groups versus a much, much higher priced emergency room or urgent care visit. So that's something that we can offer that will decrease their out-of-pocket cost.
And that's wonderful. As the mom, well, they're grown men now, but when they were sports players, I felt like I visited all the time. It became my second home for sure. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Jared Stefanko with Spectrum, who is the CEO of OrthoUnited. And thank you to Dr. Stefanko for helping us to put all of this together today. We're going to take our final break. We'll come back for our final segment and wrap up and kind of go through any of the things that maybe we've missed or haven't touched upon. And we'll continue to discuss. This is happening first of the year, folks. OrthoUnited. Spectrum Orthopaedics, Omni Orthopaedics joining forces, and we'll talk more about it on Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
I'm Doug Lautenslager, 1994 graduate of Perry High School and member of the 1992 and 93 Federal League Championship football teams. Today, I'm a proud member of Marathon Canton Refinery Team. At Marathon Canton, we are committed to being a company where all people can maximize their full potential. And we know this only happens when our employees, contractors, and stakeholders feel valued for their diverse backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives. We are committed to creating a more diverse workforce, and we welcome new ideas, invest in our people, and work hard to foster an inclusive team environment.
The Scott Antique Market is coming to the Ohio Expo Centers this weekend, featuring hundreds of vendors who have collectibles and merchandise from all over the world. You can find furniture, jewelry, art, gold, silver, glassware, pottery, militaria, and much, much more. Just take I-71 to exit 111 at 17th Avenue to enjoy America's favorite treasure hunt. It's huge. It's the Scott Antique Market. Go to scottantiquemarkets.com for more information. It's the Scott Antique Markets this weekend.
We all have 206 things in common. Our bones keep us up and moving. And Cleveland Clinic Mercy Hospital orthopedic specialists care about every single one of them. From the tip of your finger to a brand new hip, our orthopedic experts will keep you moving. For every bone and every breakthrough, for every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic Mercy Hospital. Don't delay. Visit cantonmercy.org/ortho.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
What makes Amazon Pharmacy Amazon Pharmacy? There's transparent pricing, so you know what you'll pay before you pay it. And Prime members can save up to 80% on prescriptions. Pharmacists can answer all your questions and can even transfer your prescriptions for you. All of this delivered directly to your door. It is Amazon Pharmacy, after all. Save time, save money, stay healthy. Learn more at amazon.com/sports22. That's amazon.com/sports22. Average savings based on usage and inside RX data as compared to cash prices. Average savings for all generics are 78%, 37% for select brand medications. Restrictions apply.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-478-6688. That's 1-800-478-6688. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-478-6688. That's 1-800-478-6688.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Now back to Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
And welcome back for our final segment this morning on Spotlight. We've been talking about OrthoUnited, which is the merger of Spectrum Orthopaedics and Omni Orthopaedics, which will become official the first of the year, January 1st, 2023. And I have been speaking this morning with 4 doctors who have really given us a great look inside what's going to happen, what it's going to be like. Dr. Dan Charlick and Dr. Matthew Stonestreet, also Dr. Dean Marshall and Dr. AJ Seth, all with us this morning. And I want to throw it to each one of you to give a little bit of a I guess maybe a little wrap up as we wrap things up here this morning, and maybe a final message to those folks who are listening right now, on how important this is and what you expect moving forward. And I'll start with you, Dr. Marshall. Why don't you go ahead?
Sure. I think in all this, we just want to say thank you to all the people that worked hard to put it together, and also all of our staff that had a lot of questions and different things going forward. And we thank them every day for letting us, do what we do and help our patients out. I think, what we wanted to come through with today was that we want to stay a local based, high quality orthopedic practice, and by us coming together makes that better for the community. I think patients should know that not much will change in terms of what they've been, experiencing from the physicians, either at the Omni side or the Spectrum side. OrthoUnited will be better together and providing care going forward.
All right, let's have Dr. Charlick, Dr. Dan Charlick, go ahead and let us have your thoughts.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks again for having us. And I wanted to echo what Dr. Marshall was saying about our staffs. This has been news to them as well. And, we've all been working very hard to try to create the best orthopedic care possible in town. And that definitely starts from the very front office, from the front desk receptionist all the way through. So we appreciate all of those people. I think it's an exciting time for orthopedic surgery in our area. Having this ability to combine gives all of our doctors a chance to just, communicate even better, to provide more comprehensive care together. And I think patients should think of it as a chance to just benefit from the strengths of both Spectrum and Omni, really working together more than ever before to provide the best care for them.
Dr. Stonestreet.
Once again, I think, Dr. Marshall and Dr. Charlick have captured things quite nicely. I mean, these two groups have been providing excellent care for 30 years in the area. And I think this new group, this OrthoUnited, just allows us to continue to do that and continue to improve on that, and allow us to, better serve the community in a model that we believe strongly in, and continue to do that. And once again, I don't think that, we can thank our staff and all of our employees enough. As you stated earlier, your mom was worried. It's a big change for everybody. As patients are both Omni and Spectrum patients, the employees both, we keep a pretty close-knit atmosphere, and our employees are our families. So, it's a big change for them, and they are a big piece of what we're able to do for you. So a big thank you to them.
All right, and Dr. Seth, wrap things up.
So it's been a great hour. I think hopefully we've been able to kind of touch on why we're doing it, what we're doing it. I kind of look at it like a tree, which is interesting. All of us surgeons are just basically the tip of the tree. Without a great staff, that's where it starts. People will be like, well, I called your office and I was on hold, or nobody called me back. And that's where you take Omni staff and Spectrum staff, and you're going to make this solid core, which is how a business runs. And, unfortunately, we probably don't thank people enough. You never take time to go around and thank them. But I think you would ask all the surgeons, there's no question that's what's most important. And I think putting their staff, our staff, it's going to be a great, great fit. The biggest thing I want to tell people is, if you've gone to the Cleveland, that's fine. I'll never fault somebody from going anywhere, but give us a chance. I always say people in business, they make performas, and that's always my favorite thing. No one's ever made a performa and said, I guarantee in 5 years I can lose you money. Every performa makes money. The problem here is, give us that chance. We can say we're going to be the greatest, but if we could say it, it doesn't make anything. Let us prove it. And, a lot of times people say, well, I'm going to go to the clinic. Everybody knows what that is. It is what it is. We want people to start saying, I like it as the U, but who knows if that'll ever catch on. I love that. But I'm going to the U. And my goal is that people in Ohio will say, I'm going to the U, and they'll know where you're going. And that's when you've hit it. And our goal is to make it not just the best in Northeast Ohio, make it well known in Ohio. And these guys know people fly in from all over the place, Florida, to have stuff done. People who've lived here and moved away, they come back. Why? Because they like us. And ultimately, that's when you've done a good job. Because then in the end, for me, I don't know how many more years I'll have, here, but it's passing the torch down to these young guys, to Dr. Stone Street, to Dr. Marshall. I don't look at it as myself as, I'll be gone, say, how many years, but I don't want it to just fold up, and that's the same as all the older guys. And that's why we're very excited that these young guys are taking over. I'll tell you, they've done so many meetings. I called a Kramer at one of these meetings from Seinfeld. I walked in about an hour in it. I'm like, wait, I'm not even on this committee. What am I doing here? And these young guys are going to make this thing happen. That's what's going to happen. And they are a phenomenal group. I tip my hats. Without them, I'll be honest with you, this would not have happened.
Well, I appreciate all of you coming on today. It's a very exciting time, and to see OrthoUnited take shape and become official first of the year, we look forward to having you guys on again, and we'll find out how things are going for you. And appreciate you sharing all the information with our listeners today. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So much.
Dan.
And
Thank you.
PM, starting January 1st, I believe, the website will be up, orthounitedohio.com. So
OrthoUnitedOhio.com. Okay, that's great.
That's
Perfect.
right, guys?
Yes.
Okay. I don't want to put the wrong one and it goes to some other place. So, but it'll be orthounitedohio.com.
All right. Thank you guys very much. Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.